welcome back to Riftforge Studio. Today there was a Horus Heresy FAQ released by Games Workshop, kind of stealthily, well not stealthily late in the day, but certainly it wasn't announced until well after it had appeared on the site. Was already doing the rounds on all social media. So myself, Sean and Reece are going to have a little chat about some of the bits that we liked. Well, someone breathed really heavy then. I don't know who that was.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, you get very excited with FAQ.
Apologies, that was me, I think.
So let's go in with. Do you want to start, Sean? Have a little poke around the bits that you liked, and we'll have a chat.
So I've picked 3 main points that I am most excited about.
Okay.
And as a recent collector of Sons of Horus,
Yes.
in the Liber Hereticus one, they've changed it so it can no longer be disordered. So it's always going to be the first round of combat now that Sons of Horus get their buff, which I think is quite a big change for them.
Yeah, that caused a lot of discussion, didn't it? Pretty much.
It was highly annoying.
It was highly annoying, yeah. But that's been fixed out. Where is that? Let me see if I can scroll down and find that so everyone can read what we're talking about.
So
maybe the wrong one, actually.
It's on Liber Heretics.
Oh, no, I haven't got that one up. Okay, so it's in the... Yeah, so the FAQ, we should probably mention that, it's split across all these different PDFs and sheets they've got.
Yeah, there's several of them.
Yeah, so there's one for... what's it called? The Legacies of the Age of Darkness, covering all the units in there. There's one for the main rulebook. There's one for Hereticus. There's one for the Liber Astartes. There's one for the Mechanicum. There's one for the Solar. There's one for the Militia. Although the Militia one's got almost nothing in it, I think.
I think there's one thing about jetpacks or something in there.
Yeah, and one for the Solar one, Liber Imperium. So they've covered everything. But yeah, so if you want to go and find the answers, we're going to have to look through all the PDFs to see exactly where it's been stuck. But yeah, Sons of Horus, so that's a good one.
Another one, which is sort of both in the Liber Astartes and the Heretic one, is just to do with independent characters and the bitter duty rule. So it was a bit vague before anyway, but they've cleared it up, and basically independent characters with the bitter duty rule can join other units that don't have the bitter duty rule. It's just basically if a unit's got bitter duty, then only an independent character with bitter duty can join them, which is good for your likes of your Moritats, and that might see a little bit more table time because you don't have to just take destroyers to hide them now. They can go hide in anything. And I think the one I'm most excited about as a Blood Angel Slayer, and obviously it's a bit cheesy, but it's going to be done, is Zephon has the bitter duty and rad grenades, and he can go in with a unit of Dawnbreakers, and on the charge they'll be strength 6, and he'll be bringing everything down to toughness 3. So they'll all of a sudden be causing some instant death.
Yeah, okay. So
that's a very spicy combo. I'm sure there's going to be many out there that have got some strength 6 weapons and other units. They're just putting a Moritat in will help them out. I think it's going to open up some Moritats.
Close combat Moritats.
Places. Sorry, say again, Reece?
Close combat Moritats.
Yeah, you'll see him. You'll see him.
I'm sure we'll see yours on the channel soon if you want to do that combo, won't we, Sean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Zephon built. I just need to paint him up. Yeah. I'll get that done in a couple of days.
The end of the bat rep will just read, and that's how Sean died.
Yeah, I'll use it against Tom because he's
oh, yeah, use it against Tom. That's a much better idea.
He's a proper cheesy player.
He is, yeah, all his dreadnoughts, scumbag. If you haven't watched that bat rep internet, go and watch that because it's great. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so
that's my second point, and I got one more because I'm greedy.
Because greedy.
The shooting reactions one is quite a big change to it, where it says that you can't use any special rules that are noted instead of making a shooting attack. You can't use I think it's your battlesmiths. You can't use your master of signals or tech marines to buff the proper signum.
Yes.
And more importantly, all the psychic powers are worded instead of making a shooting attack. So there's no shooting a telepathy librarian and then him shooting back and pinning you.
Yeah.
Can't do it anymore. which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, that
it
needed
nerfs
clarifying.
shooting reactions a bit. I think they could have done with nerfing them a little bit harder, but at least it's a step in the right direction.
Well, I mean, you say nerf. I mean, to me, that's kind of cheesing it a bit anyway in the first place. I think, to me, the intention of a shooting reaction has always been, a shooting weapon should fire back and instead of making a shooting attack. So
yeah,
I'm happy that's in. I think that's a good change. That is on screen at the moment with the pink writing for anyone who wants to have a little squint. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty
so
good.
they're my top 3 that I'm most excited about.
I think I am probably most excited about. Well, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room, which is the Armiger stuff. Okay. So the Armiger's rules as written prior to this FAQ were functionally immune to Haywire, to Armor Bane, to the detonation rule and all that sort of stuff that affects Dreadnoughts and the like. So now they've had the following point. This is not on screen, so apologies, but it's in the mechanicum FAQ. It says, for Armiger unit type, add the following bullet point to this unit type. A model with a mechanized unit subtype is affected by the Haywire, Detonation, Armor Bane, and Battlesmith special rules as if it had the Dreadnought unit type. Excuse me, coughing. So that's pretty clear to me. That's all been added into the Armiger, and now it's susceptible to all those rules. The 2 things I want to address are, firstly, if that's the case, I think they're now quite overpointed in comparison to a Contender Dreadnought. Because they're not fearless, they only have a 3-up save, they can get swept in combat, all these things that don't affect Dreadnoughts, but Armiger's still 200 points plus.
I think the only thing they've still got going for them is that they can't have crack grenades and stuff chucked at them. That's their only bonus now, I think.
Is that still the case? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and they move quickly, but I mean, there's a lot of points for that.
Yeah.
I guess they are line, right, in a knight's list, so there's that. The thing that I'm going to also question is the wording there says a model with a mechanized unit subtype is affected, so not the Armiger unit type, which is what it is. I saw this going around a few of the Facebook groups and such today. This is clearly a copy and paste error, right? This is not.
Yeah, well, it's under Armiger, isn't it? So,
it is under Armiger, yes. So
come on, you're grasping at straws, really, aren't you?
Yeah, anyone who tries to put a fast one on that needs a reality check. So yeah, it's a change that needs to happen. Armiger's been getting away with murder, unless people have been house ruling, and this now pretty much wipes that out. So that's good. That's the first thing I wanted to bring up in the FAQ. First highlight for me. Any thoughts on that, Reece or Sean?
No, man, I agree. I think, everyone is clutching at straws. I mean, it's under that entry, so it's obvious where it's supposed to be and who it's supposed to be for.
Yeah. Definitely.
Cool, okay. So I think the next thing I'm going to talk about probably is the Lords of War.
Oh, yes. Neil's especially excited for this.
I am excited for this.
And it means you can use Samus and Kabanda now.
Yes, that is exactly what I was going to say. Not only can I use
I
Samus
knew
and
that's
Kabanda,
what you'd be most excited about.
Well, technically speaking, if I had enough points, I could use Samus, Kabanda, and Archdemon and Korvax all in the same army.
That'd be like a 10k game.
My 3 sovereigns, my 20 compulsory lessers, and then no friends. But yeah, sounds good to me.
Friends, though.
So yeah, just to clarify this, I'm going to see if I can find it on screen. I'm pretty sure it's in the basic, the frequently asked questions. I'm just going to scroll all the way down. Right, here we go. So in the center of the screen now, on the left-hand side, question: is there a limit on the number of optional detachments I can include in my army? The answer is no. So that means you can include more than one Lord of War detachment. You can include more than one allied detachment. So Shatter Legions players, although there's no official rules, you could run those legions combined. And yeah, as I said, Lords of War, that's fantastic. That's good. If you've got enough points, you can multiply those big units. So that's pretty good.
Can I just step in there quickly?
Sure.
Because I've seen lots of people getting excited about this.
Go on.
And I know what the internet's like for seeing something they like and not scrolling down to see everything.
Go on.
There is a factions breakdown at the bottom of that FAQ.
Yes, I was going to go on to that.
Oh, right, yeah, perfect then, yeah. Just because I got really excited when it stated that all mechanicum lists are one faction. That just made me happy. So you can't ally mechanicum with mechanicum, and that's finally settled.
It is funny. Who is allying mechanicum with mechanicum?
Oh, who do you think?
Oh, well, let's not badmouth someone on the internet.
It's right. He knows I love him deeply.
Yeah. Okay, so on the screen now, as you'll see, you have the rules commentary that Reece was just referring to about factions, saying that each Space Marine Legion is its own separate faction, all of which use the same army list. Mechanicum is a faction which has multiple lists available to use. So Mechanicum itself would be a faction, the Knights would be a faction, presumably the Titan Legions would be as well. And Agents of the Emperor, Warmaster, I'm glad they've clarified this too, because rules as written beforehand, you can ally sisters with Custodes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's now been dealt with, and you can clearly see there that you are allowed to do that. So Custodes can be allied with sisters because they're different sub-factions, and in terms of allies, that effectively counts as a different faction if the sub-faction is different. So, good stuff, right? Positive?
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Okay. I think the other highlight for me outside of this, I can't see it now, but there was one of these little pink blocks of text that says not only can you have multiple Lords of War, but you can take Lords of War from across any of the army lists. So, for example, you could roll out, if you had enough points, some Imperial Fist Reece with the Ordinatus. Right.
It'd be a big game to get the Ordinatus on the table, though, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. Mate, it's a big wall. No.
It needs the right guns.
It needs the right guns. So, yeah, that's perfectly plausible. And presumably the Solar Auxilia, is it the Stormhammer, that one with this like guns on guns? Presumably you could take that and roll it into a Legion army, or take a Baneblade for your Solar and that sort of thing. I suspect we'll get all this sort of stuff house ruled so that you can't take things like an Iron Warriors Shadow Sword in an Imperial Fist army or stuff like that. Stupid stuff.
I think allied detachments and different detachments, they're all still subject to the allies matrix, aren't they? So I don't think... Well, I suppose you could take a loyalist one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and benefit from those rules. So yeah, I think a dose of common sense is probably needed, but overall, I think it's good to have it mostly clarified, and it's good that you can double up the detachments. Because as you say, Sean, makes demons more fun, potentially, now. So
Yeah, I think so.
cool. And the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to switch my pages over. Because we want to, by we I mean me, wants to talk about Fulmin's Horus Terminators. Right, so Fulmin's Horus Terminators. These were a little bit of a menace pre-FAQ, wouldn't you agree, Sean?
Just a little bit, a little bit.
Okay, so the reason for this, for anyone who doesn't know or is new or hasn't a clue what we're talking about, these guys used to have a missile launcher that was AP2 base, brutal 2, and could shoot without line of sight. So these were abused, I think it's fair to say. There was some Ultramarine
It was
players.
so ridiculous. They were abused in ZM because they could just shoot through walls.
Well, they can't, actually. That's interesting you said that, because the rules for ZM say you can't use guided fire weapons.
Well,
So those people were cheating.
Yeah.
And scum for using Fulmin's Horus.
Double
cheating scum.
Cheating scum, yeah. So, we'll just put a pin in that for a second.
But the fact that they're a strength 8, AP2 all the time, brutal 2, so you're just killing any
they were
specialist
Terminators.
Terminators.
Were they blind as well, if I made that up? I felt like they had something attached to them. Anyway, the pertinent point for this is that all that's gone. So all those people who were running Alpha Legion and taking these units in there and being horrible, and all the Ultramarine players that were taking 10, 15, 20 of them, well, now you're not going to. Because the plasma missiles are now AP4 base. They are breaching 4+, but they're no longer brutal 2, and they no longer shoot round corners. The Tetrarch Targeter... not something, yes. The Tetrarch Targeter has been upgraded to... changed. Downgraded to twin linked and I think night vision, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't think that's not too bad because you can't obviously shroud against that.
No, it's still good, but they were horribly ridiculously efficient for the points before. They just murdered.
I think they're a negative player experience for the people facing them. Obviously, the people using them must have loved them.
Well, even so, there becomes a limit, doesn't it? If you put 20 of these on the table and you've blown your opponent off the board in turn one, I mean, are you genuinely having fun? I wouldn't be. Just be.
Yeah. Are you there to have a social interaction with someone, or
That's
just
it.
be a
That's it.
knob?
We I think it was Tom, wasn't it, Reece? So shout out to Tom Sargent of the Merchant Princeton's podcast, who said to be.
Yeah.
He said people need to get it in their head that this is a two-player game and not a competitive sport. And I think that's a really good way to look at it. That's exactly what it should be. Yeah, you're playing a game. You're not trying to hammer someone at the Olympics. So calm down.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Former Taurus, they got a big nerf back. They absolutely needed it. There's loads and loads of stuff in this. Things like the super heavies getting pointer reductions and stuff. We're not going to go through them. Feel free to go and have a look. Those are the main things that I picked out that I was happy about. So do you have anything else, Reece, you want to have a look at?
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on the super heavies. I don't know if you noticed. Yes, all the Space Marine ones have had a points decrease,
Which they bloody needed.
The solar ones have now had a small increase, though, that brings everything on par.
Oh, interesting. No, I hadn't actually noticed.
So, yeah, all Baneblade chassis are the same. And I was just saying to Sean before this that I think what you'll see a lot of now is solar armies, especially now with this new detachment scenario. I think you'll see a lot of Baneblade chassis that are Legion Baneblades.
Yeah.
In the back of solar armies, which is
same
not
but ballistic.
Yeah,
right?
but yeah, that extra ballistic skill.
Yeah.
Which is what it is.
It's a bit cheeky.
You got. Yeah, but
these would even be benefiting from some Legion points, surely, on some of the vehicles.
yeah, possibly. I don't know if I suppose they do, don't they? All the vehicles have. If it's Legion, yeah. So
to be honest,
auto weapons for fists, yeah, would be hitting on twos, stuff like that.
I'll be happy to see them on the table again. I haven't seen Baneblades and Stormblades and things forever and a day because they were so unbelievably pointed to the point where you just couldn't do anything with them. I'm looking for a couple of entries just to give the people watching this, assuming you're still here, a little look at some of these. But I can. Oh, okay, I've gone past them. That's why. All right. So just
The other thing I wanted to touch on actually.
go on.
Whilst you're searching for whatever you're searching, is the Chaplain Mastercrafted clearance we've had.
Go on.
This was on our Discord as well, wasn't it? And
yeah,
it's a good point.
They have clarified that when you mastercraft a weapon for your Chaplain console, as you're allowed to do, it is specifically from the power weapon section. So power sword, power axe, power maul, power lance. Nothing else.
Not power fist.
Yeah, power fists and thunder hammers are not power weapons. Anyone that's ever said that, I mean, I'm not going into it.
There's a reason they have their own entry for all these things. They're not just.
Yeah, they're not. They've never been under the power weapon entry, so that's just a fact.
That's gone now.
But it also counts for your Legion specific upgrades, doesn't it? So
yeah. So
they count as power weapon, but it's now specifically stated the Chaplain is those four options. Nothing
yes. So, like, obviously for Sean, he can take no mastercrafted petition weapons.
Yeah.
And for my Empress Children, there are no mastercrafted Phoenix weapons. And it also obviously doesn't include what you sometimes get under the power weapon entry, which is the charnable weapons, isn't it? Even though I suppose actually in the war gear, they are a separate entry, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they are.
I was just looking
for
this in the which sheet is this in? Is this in one of the Legion Astartes or Hereticus ones, Reece?
What I'm just reading, is under Liber Astartes. It's right at the very bottom.
I haven't got that on the screen at the moment, though. So sorry
I
about that.
think it's on both of them, isn't it?
Well, I just literally just read it word for word, pretty much. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good clarification. Definitely needed.
Yeah. I got two more. Actually,
go on. Yeah.
So they cleared up reactions in the assault phase a little bit as well.
Yes, I've got that on the screen. Yeah.
Now, it's on page 1. So you roll the player who's charging rolls the dice, and then the players reacting can then decide what to do. So they don't have to declare beforehand. Wait for those dice rolls, and then you can go, okay, he's failed there. I'll pop his save off and let him do something else. So it's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, because there were some people that were saying you need to react, won't you? As soon as they declare a charge, they're saying, "Do you want to react against this?" And that's not really.
I've seen
what
it
it's
done a
supposed to
few
be.
ways because some people say they say F and they're charging that phase, and then you choose where to react.
Yeah,
But
this is
now
sort of somewhere in
it's
between,
like,
isn't it?
yeah, somewhere in between. Like you go one by one, but they have to roll, and then you see whether you want to spend that reaction or not.
Yeah, so you don't waste it on a failed charge.
Yeah, and it was also going to be very useful for Empress Children player Reece, because your unique reaction is
Yep.
on a higher roll, so you could hold off, see what they roll, and then go, "Oh, actually, I might not bother declaring that because they've rolled a double 6."
Yeah, or I know
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
beat 3, so no problem.
Yeah. So I think that's quite a cool little change. And one we were discussing off recording was the reserves. So now
Yeah.
if you reserve, even if you arrive by a deep strike assault in like a Storm Eagle and disembark, you can't charge even though it's an assault vehicle. Specifically says you can't do it. Same for outflanking. You can't do it in assault vehicles outflanking. So no outflanking in Land Raiders and then assault out of them. Specifically said no.
Ooh,
The only thing
yeah.
that can happen is in drop pad assault, where it's going to be the Charybdis, because that's the only assault vehicle in a drop pod assault list anyway. That's the only thing that can do it.
This, I don't know this because I don't really play drop armies, but has the Ambulance not got assault vehicle anymore?
Nope.
No, okay. They really want to sell some Charybdis, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No one's buying that.
I think it's a lovely model. It's just really expensive for
It's
as a
ridiculous
drop
for a
pod.
transport.
Yeah.
I don't care how much resin's in it.
Ooh, love it.
Can I throw in another one as well? So this is
Go on.
I've only ever played this Legion a couple of times, and I have never played with them, but I've seen this argument many times over my years in Heresy with Zardu Layak and his Blade Slaves has been clarified finally, especially
has.
for 2.0. So I'm just going to quickly, I'll paraphrase it quickly, which is basically he has to be deployed with them, but can leave them.
Yep.
Like, so turn 1, he can leave them and join another unit in the successive turns, and also that he can still take a retinue, but obviously with the retinue rules, he then can't leave them until all of the retinue are dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So him and the Blade Slaves can take a retinue.
Interesting. I think there's a certain lad who plays Word Bearers who runs 20 Galval back and comes to some events that we do that might be keen on that.
Yeah. We don't talk about him.
Yeah, shout out Kerry if you're listening.
He's not the chosen one.
And your war crimes. Sean's still feeling the pinch now.
He's allowed to.
I have
if anyone's
Galval back.
Galval back, everyone's favourite.
He's a really lovely boat, to be fair. So.
He is, yeah. We're not giving you grief, Kerry. We do like you, but your list is horseshit.
In his defence, I mean, he plays pretty friendly most of the time. I think he's allowed a blowout every now and then.
He is, yeah. I do remember him getting utterly stomped at once, so it's entirely fair that he's pulled back a little bit. There's one other thing, actually, I just thought about that I'm going to mention too, and that is quite a lot of the special characters in the Legacies list now have a little bit of text that says they count for a siege breaker in a particular rite of war, or they count for a chapter in a particular rite of war, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Tom was happy about Durak Rask for the Death Guard now counting as a siege breaker, wasn't he? And the Salamanders ones count as that, and I thought that was good. That was a good thing to add because
it's nice. It should have been there years ago. I don't even
100%.
think it was a thing in 1.0. It's just something that was overlooked.
So that's good. And my Marauder Destroyer might get some playtime now. It's gone back up to 8 whole points. Who knows?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, look, we're not going to go through it all because there's quite a lot. They made a big change. We have waited a long time for it. It's fair to say they have fixed a lot of stuff. I think there will be people that are happy with this. There will be people that are less happy with it. Alpha Legion and Ultramarine players probably.
Boo.
But aside from, I mean, I don't play alphas or ultras, so Formatars have never really been on my radar. But those aside, have you seen any changes in this FAQ you think is bad or was a mistake? Or, needs to
I
be put back.
personally can't think of one. I need to digest it a little bit more, but
Sure.
nothing's jumped out at me going, oh, what the hell have they done there?
I spent a good half hour having a read through before we came on to make sure that I didn't, there wasn't anything ludicrous that people had overlooked, that we'd overlooked. But I think, it's all pretty interesting, and but needed. Do you know what I mean? The only even they've put a firing protocol thingy in for the old solar Malcador things.
We haven't even talked about that, but go and look at the Malcador sheet if you're a solar player. It's quite good.
Yeah, it's all worth a read through. We've just picked our sort of biggest changes and our favourites, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'd say most things have had. It's dare I say it, and I'll big up Giles from the Merchant Princelings podcast for because he's been saying, if we don't tell them, they can't answer. And if I'm totally honest, most things I've heard people moan about have been answered.
Yeah, they fixed a lot, haven't they? Yeah. Giles is good. I think Giles gets up, has his morning coffee, and then sends an email to GW.
It's a barrage of everything that he stewed on the night before.
He literally goes full Montaris on their email box. Right, okay. All right, I think we'll leave it there then, guys. Let's say go read through the FAQ. There's loads of stuff to digest. I'm still finding bits and hours we scroll through that I didn't notice earlier on. So, please do like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Push all the buttons. We've got affiliate links in the description.
All the affiliate links, yeah.
Yeah, YouTube memberships now available if you are so inclined, which give you access to our Discord, where you can come and chat to us about the FAQ and more besides. And if you are part of the YouTube members,
come chat to us about Tom's 4 Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, Tom's 4 Dreadnoughts. You will get early access to bat reps and stuff when they go up too. So as a thanks for getting involved.
Yes, we've started doing that now, haven't we? Because it's become an option.
It did, and there'll be more stuff coming, won't they, Sean? We've got some stuff in the pipeline for bat reps to all the those people, YouTube members.
We have got a very busy year.
We've got a very busy year. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Reece. Thanks, Sean. And we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Catch you later.
See you later.